Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Suicide Squad Isekai Season 1, Episode 9. Great episode. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So picking up in the aftermath of last episode upon what Princess Fiona had discovered that her mom isn't her mom, we actually find out the queen is actually dead. It turns out the person that's behind all this is the undead queen, which I guess that's the person we saw like in the first episode that like Katana and the others were in front of. Like I said, we got a glimpse of them, but we didn't really get like a really good look. And so she's been manipulating this whole situation because like she was sealed away a long time ago. Apparently the sword that's currently inside of King Shark's stomach is what was kind of used to kind of keep her sealed away. But basically, she needed a war between the two kingdoms. She fostered all of this because the more death that ensues, the more powerful she gets. She's kind of like a necromancer because she's like the undead king, and like just more death means more people for her army, but she probably also just feeds off of death in general. So she set all this in motion, and God knows how long she's been possessing the queen. It's kind of sad because my theory was like by the end of this, Princess Fiona is going to have to be like in charge of the kingdom. Like I didn't know if her mom was going to die or be locked up, but it's like nope, kind of a moot point because your mom is dead. It's not like she possessed your mom's body; she just took her appearance. So like I said, who knows how long her mom has actually been dead. One of the ministers is actually working with her, knowing exactly who she is. So I wonder, has he known the entire time, or is he, because he's one of the main ministers, because the other one got eaten by King Shark last episode. I'm assuming he had no idea, but this one, the one who's wearing the Thinker's cap, must be the one who, like, I'm curious, how did he only recently find out? Because she no longer needs to hide her appearance anymore because she's gained enough power. Plus, everything's become so annoying that it's like, I need to go ahead and just reveal myself and take this all down and just, she wants to rule everything and just, I guess, like cast a shadow of death across everything and just make this world her own, which I guess that meant to make her a parallel to, well, Waller wants to get resources from this world, but it's also about conquering this world too. So, but luckily Cecil is there to back up the princess. And it turns out, like they touched on it previously, that Cecil lost his fiance in the war between the kingdoms, and rather than taking the undead kings like bait, he ends up getting the princess away. And for her, it's just her entire world comes crashing down because she was hoping maybe I could just talk to my mom who's acting crazy, but now it's like no. Like I said, it's a moot point. Her mom's dead, and she'll never have an opportunity, you know. And so for her, she just finally kind of has her breaking point. And she finally lets go, as she says, stop holding back. Because for so long, she thought, for the sake of her mother, for the sake of the kingdom, she kind of had to stop, like feeling her feelings. She had to bottle it all up, and so finally she snaps. She kind of, to unleash herself, she puts on makeup. It's kind of letting out her inner Harley, which I love that whole sequence where she just like beats the hell out of that minister, and it's like, oh, like this is for the sake of the kingdom. You get out of here with that bullshit. And she's like, and just starts beating on him with the bat. And Cecil's like, oh, Hime-sama. It's like, wow, she's got a lot more pent up stress than I thought. It's like, yeah. And she took it out on him. He's not dead. She just beat him up using Harley's bat. So she's kind of letting her confidence out. It's like, right, there's no point of holding back. And I've been holding back like who I really been and how I've been, because she had to play the role of like the docile princess for so long, and it's been slipping out little by little, but now she's kind of fully embraced her inner Harley, which once again is why I've constantly talked about the fact that's why Harley doesn't like her, kind of has a little disdain when she looks at her, because when Harley looks at her, Harley looks at who she used to be as Harleen Quinzel. So nevertheless, the undead king has like revealed herself to everybody. She's raising her dead army, but the princess isn't going to take this lying down. She's like, right, she had Cecil gather up whatever soldiers aren't under her control, and it's like, we're going to fight back. And the Sea Leviathan and Killer Croc show up, but I love that King Shark is helping, but he's like, oh, but he's mistaking the princess for Harley, and it takes him later on, he'd be like, Harley? Wait, no, that's not Harley. Who are you? But he's duking it out with Killer Croc. I also love the squad calls out. They're talking about like what was, I think it was specifically Peacemaker that said like the educational system has failed them. If like the princess is taking inspiration after Harley, and everyone's just like, oh boy, that's kind of the wrong role model to take after. But the Suicide Squad shows up to back them, because I thought they were on their way to the other kingdom, but maybe they were on their way back here after everything. And it's like, yeah, it's the big bad you got to take out. And now it's like, well, they got to deal with an army of zombies, which Clayface was all about the whole like, well, you can't miss the cliche of like being able to rescue the princess from the castle. It's like, come on, that's a classic. So he's all about that, and Deadshot and Harley are all about taking out zombies, because it's like, oh, that's pretty sick. So they're doing that, and that for Harley and Deadshot, that whole situation leads to them crossing paths with Enchantress, but it seems like they already kind of hinted that there was other motivation behind what she did, because she did protect the Suicide Squad beforehand from those bullets, and Harley figured it out this episode. So it's like, why were you doing that? And I love the reason why Harley was able to figure it out. She's like, oh, I know that look in your eyes. That's the look that people get when Pudding has someone that they care about held hostage. I was like, it's so effed up that it came from a villain. It takes a villain to understand a villain, right? So yeah, but it turns out Enchantress has someone being held captive, and apparently it seems to be a twin sister, it seems like. And it's interesting that Katana led Clayface and Rick Flag to that. So I guess that's Katana's. I mean, because that's the thing, because Katana's fine with killing the Thinker. So, like, what is her motivation in all of this? If she's willing to help out with the whole Enchantress situation, it's like, well, she didn't mind killing the Thinker after he had, failed his purpose. But I guess it's like, right, I guess Ratcatcher and Thinker were just the ones that were the most extremists of the group, whereas everyone else has their own motivations. We, once again, still don't know what Katana's is. Not unless she's been playing double agent this entire time, and she has never stopped working for Waller, and then this has just been a ploy the entire time. Not unless that's what this is, and she found her opportunity to really take advantage of the chaotic situation. And that's the only thing I could surmise from this. I mean, not unless it's her just playing the role of a good guy, playing the role of a bad guy. We'll see. I love that, because Harley hasn't really tapped into, like, her power in this world much, and we haven't really seen it showcase whether or not, like, doesn't seem like Deadshot or Peacemaker has one, but once again, Clayface has got more control over Clay. We've seen Harley display this superhuman strength from time to time. It's like, it's magic inside of herself, but what really activates is the stone that they took from that armor that Cecil had previously. It was kind of like this holy armor, and she equips it to her gun, and now is firing magic bullets, which obviously, anime reference wise, when I think of magic bullets from a gun, my immediate thought is Outlaw Star. The caster shells is one of my favorite things in fiction, because I just think like the concept behind like magic bullets is so cool. I also have to give notes to like Final Fantasy Tactics, because there are technical magical bullets in that as well, but obviously magic bullets, my immediate thought is the caster shells from Outlaw Star. I love that bit where she had said to Deadshot, he's like, what's that glow? And she's like, well, you know that getting basically implants makes your boobs glow. But she's like, but not like but I don't have any. And he's like, what the hell are you talking about? But yeah, it's different from her, whatever, like, because she has tapped into magic before, but it's just been very sporadically. She hasn't fully gained control of it. So I'm curious, in the final episode, will we see something from from Deadshot and Peacemaker on that front, or no? Because at least King Shark, which maybe it's not magic, maybe he just has the innate healing factor, and maybe it's just been amplified by the world, just like Clayface's ability to control the clay is what he got as a byproduct of all this world. So I also love that Arthur showed up to help protect his mommy, which I don't know if just dragons just rapidly age, because it hasn't been that long. It's only been like couple hours. since they left him last episode, and he's already like fully grown for the sake of protecting his mama. So that's really sweet. King Shark continues his fight with Killer Croc and the Sea Leviathan. I mean, he's handling things on his own, but it's still like it's 2 versus 1. And Killer Croc's like, oh, you should have had someone watching your back. And I love Peacemaker shows up being like, he does, America, motherfucker, and has like a giant American flag. I'm like, yeah, that's so Peacemaker, isn't it? I also love that while like Clayface was doing his thing, him and Rick Flag, like you see like in the background just like Peacemaker deucing up some zombies with his bare fist. He grabbed one and like twirled them around against others. But yeah, I'm curious to see how they deal with like Killer Croc and the Sea Leviathan. Because there's also back to Clayface and Rick Flag. They're there with the other Enchantress, whoever she is. And I love that whole bit of just kind of like, oh, like, there's got to be a plot reason for this or something like that. So I'm curious how much they'll bother like getting into some of like really nitty gritty detail. I'm curious. This is going to end with the quote unquote good guys winning, but I'm curious like how that's all going to go down. How will they defeat the undead queen, considering like she has a crazy regenerative ability? I'd assume it'd have to do with the sword that's still in King Shark's belly. I'm curious if Killer Croc is going to end up dead along with the Sea Leviathan. I doubt Enchantress is going to be dead. I mean, I guess if you could get Enchantress and Katana on your side, it's going to be like, what, 8 versus 1? I mean, plus you got Cecil, plus you got the Kingdom Witch. I appreciate Cecil strode up to help out Deadshot. He's in the armor, double pistols blasting. I was like, this is such a wild thing to see. And then even later on when he's working with Deadshot, he's still got his sword in one hand, gun in another. I was like, that feels so cool yet badass. So, because this is him kind of like, because we know previously he did wear that armor, but he hasn't worn it in a while, and now it's just kind of like he's kind of stepped back into like head knight mode a little bit, which phrasing, but you get what I'm saying. So I'm curious to see how this all plays out. It's just in the grand scheme of things, there's only like 1 episode left, and like I've talked about previously, I haven't looked into it. I'd assume like it's going to be like a series finale, like this is a one and done, and they go back to their world at the end. Sadly, Harley would probably have to leave Arthur behind. But like I said, how this actually concludes, how they go about stopping the Queen, walking away, being heralded as heroes, but then you have to go back to your world and deal with, well, Amanda Waller waiting for you. So maybe this has something to do with in conjunction with the katana of it all. That's what I was bringing up before. So because we don't know whatever happened to the elves post them getting freed from the Thinker's control. Like a few episodes back, like, was it? No, that was episode 7. Like, we haven't found out whatever happened to the elves post that, so they might show up to help in the end. I mean, especially considering it's like, well, everyone can, but that might not be like a thing of they show up later on after everything's resolved and it's like, right, let's all work together in harmony and kind of move forward peacefully. That could be the way this ends up playing out. I know it's going to have a happy ending. It's just like the journey there is going to be interesting. There is stuff I wish we could have more time to explore about certain things. Like, we're probably not really going to know much other than like, oh my god, you were some great evil. Just, it's up to your own assumptions of what the Undead King's circumstances are. That's probably all you'll get. Maybe they'll make some joke of it of like, oh, like there is no backstory you're going to get from this character. But there's certain things I wish we could explore more, but I don't know if we're going to get any of that, once again, in like a 22, 24-minute episode next time. So, like I said, this is going to, it seems like a one and done. So, we'll probably have like a proper conclusive ending. But maybe there'll be some like open-endedness, like, oh, there's more future for this story to tell, even if you don't actually get to ever see it. It's just kind of left up to your imagination. But like I said, I'm excited to see how this all comes to a close, whether it's in the form of a series finale or whether it's in the form of a season finale. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.